Hi everyone, I'm glad you've come to cook with Victoria. Today I have an important guest in the house today, and I'll be sitting down drinking my coffee while the important guest will be cooking. And who is that person? Guys, this is our guest for today. He's going to be the chef. And who is this? This is my beloved son, in whom I am well pleased. His name is Abraham.
Hi guys.
So I'll be leaving you with Abraham and he will be taking over.
Okay, so today guys, we're going to be making bread. Agege bread to be specific, and to go with the bread we're going to be making butter. Well, the butter's already been made, it's store-bought butter, but we're going to be adding a bit of a twist to it. We're going to add a bit of garlic and some herbs to it. So let's get started. So these are all the ingredients we're going to be using to make the bread. The ingredients, all the measurements and what we're going to be using, they're going to be in the description box below. So these are all the ingredients we're going to be using for the butter. As I said, we're going to be using store-bought butter. This is unsalted butter. The reason why we're using unsalted butter is because that way we can control the amount of salt that we have in the butter, since we're going to add it ourselves. A bowl of garlic, herbs, so basil, parsley and some chives. So the first thing I'm going to do is prove my yeast. The first thing I'm going to do is prove my yeast, and to do that I'll be using this sachet of yeast and out of this water that I've already measured. Make sure the water is warm and not hot, because if the water is hot it's going to kill the yeast. So yeah, that's what we're going to do first. Now I'll be stirring it, and once I'm done stirring I'll set it aside for about 10 minutes or until it's fully risen. Okay, so I'll be starting off with all my dry ingredients here. These are my wet ingredients. The first to go into this clean bowl is the salt. Then I'll add sugar. Then I'll be adding the flour. The flour I'm using is bread flour. The reason why I'm using bread flour is because it just has more gluten in it, but if you don't have bread flour, plain flour is fine. So I'm adding that in now. And this is citric acid or vitamin C. I'm adding that in because it, you know, when you pull, if you've had agege bread before, when you pull it, it has more elasticity to it than the normal like plain white bread. So this just makes it have that elasticity. So I mean, if you don't have it, it's fine. It's just better for me to eat that way. So I'll just be mixing them in like this with this wooden spoon, and we get a better grip. Just mix them in. And by the way, this is extra flour on the side. I'm just going to leave it on the side for now. We're going to be using that for kneading. So the yeast is risen. What I'm going to be doing now is making a well to add my wet ingredients. I'll make a well in the middle of the dry ingredients to add my wet ingredients. So what I'm going to add in first is the yeast. Just make sure you scoop all of it in. Next I'll be adding the oil. Finally I'll be adding warm water. Okay, so now what we're going to do is mix everything in slowly with the wooden spoon. Mix it all in. Okay, so we're going to be kneading now. Yeah, this is where we're going to know who the real gym goers are, because here there's serious muscle involved. Yeah, this is where the flour comes into play, the extra flour we got. So first we're going to sprinkle a bit on the table, on the wet top, wherever you're doing your kneading. Just a little bit. Spread out a bit. This is so the flour that you're kneading, because it's quite wet now, doesn't stick to the table or wet top. So yeah, we're going to scoop this onto the table or wet top. And we're going to start kneading. The kneading process is about 8 to 10 minutes. You need a bit of stamina for this one. Okay, so this is how I knead. It's just a push and pull. You might want to get some flour on your hands as well. Make sure you haven't got any jewelry on your fingers either, so you don't bite into the piece of bread and you're chewing your ring. Yeah, so I've added a bit extra flour onto my fingers and just a bit more onto the dough. So yeah, like I said, push and pull. So we're still kneading. Like I said, push and pull. You can do one hand individually, depends on how you like to do it. You can do both hands like this. It doesn't really matter. Just keep working on it. The more you work on it, the more the gluten gets activated. So after about 8 to 10 minutes of kneading this, I'll be rubbing this clean bowl down with oil, so there'll be easy extraction after letting this rest for about an hour and a half. So I've got this oil spray, so it's just easy for me to just spray it down, drop it down a bit as well. Should be alright. And now extract the dough. Okay. Cool. So just gonna cover this up with some cling film. And let it sit for an hour and a half. Okay, so my mom's told me that when we're cooking, it's best to always try and make sure everything is done at the same time. And to put that into practice, while the dough is resting, we're going to be getting started on making our butter. So let's get to it. So we've got this bowl of garlic here. What we're going to do first is open it up by cutting this part off, just the end off. Once we've cut it off, what I'm going to be doing is, since I have this oil spray, I'll be spraying it with oil. Spraying it with oil. But those that don't have this, obviously just pour the oil on. That should be enough. And then I'm going to cut a bit of kitchen foil, and put it in there. Rub it in there. And what we're going to be doing is put it in the oven for about 10 minutes, and while that's in the oven, we're going to continue with the rest of our butter preparation. Okay, so the next step of making our butter is to unwrap the butter. So once that's unwrapped, I'm going to be cutting into smaller pieces to make it easier for me to work with down the line. You'll see what I mean when we get there. So, okay, now I'm going to be grinding some sea salt. I have sea salt, but you can use whatever salt you have. So the garlic is done now. What I'm going to be doing is taking them out and putting them into the butter like this. I'm going to demonstrate with this one glue. I'm just going to put them there because we're still going to mash it up later. So I'm going to put everything there, and then I'm going to take some of these herbs and chop them up. Okay, so I've chopped up all the herbs. I've already added the garlic in before. So now what I'm going to do is mash them all in, mix them all in together, and then our garlic and herb butter is ready. Yeah, so I finished mashing everything and mixing them all in together. This is how it looks. So it's got a green colour now. It kind of looks a bit like guacamole or some sort of avocado mash. Yeah, so they're all mixed in. What makes it easier is that the butter was at room temperature when I mixed everything in, when I started matching everything in, so make sure your butter's at room temperature. Yeah, so let's give this a taste, see what that's saying. Yeah, that definitely has a bit of something to it. It kind of tastes like the garlic dip that you get when you buy pizza or something, but a bit of avocado there as well. I don't know, it's definitely worth making. For storage, make sure you store it in a clean, airtight container. Store it in the fridge, and treat it as normal butter. It should have the same life expectancy as normal butter because that's what we used really. We just added the herbs and garlic to it. Now the dough is risen. What we're going to be doing now is we're going to take it out, divide it into 2 equal pieces, roll it out, roll the separate pieces out, and then place them into 2 separate bread pans and leave them for about half an hour to rise. Okay, so now I'm going to be taking it out. See, look at that. Just sliding out. That's because we sprayed it before. Now I've split them into 2. I've measured them to make sure they're even. They weigh the same basically. They both weigh 543. Okay, so we've taken out the dough from the bowl. What I'm going to do now is knead it to get rid of the air bubbles. So I'm just going to knead it out for about a minute. Okay, now I'll be rolling it out. Using this method, I'm going to stretch it across. Flip it around and stretch it like this as well. Now what we're doing is making sure it's around the same length as my bread pan. Yep. Now I'm going to be adding a bit more flour to the bottom, to the table, so it doesn't stick. Just put it in one spot, the spot where you're going to be doing all the bread work. So yeah, I'll roll across this way first. Try and get it as even as possible. Then I'll roll it this way. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take it from here, take it to the middle. I'm going to use a rolling pin to roll it. And I'm going to take the other end like this, roll it over it, make it overlap. I'm going to do the same thing and roll it. Now that I've done that from the top and the bottom, I'm going to be folding from my left the same way, fold it to the middle. And then I'm going to roll this way. And then this way. Okay, once that's all done, what we're going to do now is fold it gradually, bit by bit, lengthways, and make sure you pinch the end so that there are no air bubbles. Do that again, just bit by bit. And also make sure it's well pinched so that it doesn't unravel when it's rising in the oven. Once you've rolled to the end, make sure you pinch the end together. So pinch it together again so it doesn't unravel while it's rising. And now what we're going to do is we're going to place it in the pan, but before we place it in the pan, I'm going to spray it or rub it down with oil. Should be enough. And place it in there. Once that's been rubbed down, what we're going to do is the edge that we just pinched together, we're going to make sure that's facing the bottom. Just carefully lift it up and place it in the pan and leave it for about half an hour or wait till it's double the size. Now the dough is doubled in size after we let it rise for about 40 minutes. What we're going to do now is we're going to put it in the oven The oven's been preheated to 150 degrees Celsius. So we're going to put it in the oven for about 30 to 40 minutes. It should be done in about 30 to 40 minutes, but just make sure you leave it in there until it's done. The size of the pan I'm using is 10.5 by 6 inches. I used 2 halves of the dough, so I'm going to put both pans in the oven now. So it's ready now. It's just came out of the oven. One way you can check if it's ready is you just take it out like this. It should slide out easily because you hold the bottom of the pan. Take it out like that and you just beat on the bottom. You beat on the bottom one like this and it should give off like a slightly hollow sound. So I'm rubbing it down with butter now just to finish it off, to give a glossy finish and so that the top won't be hardened when it cools. So I'm going to let this cook for about 10 minutes. Now I'm going to cut it open to show you what it looks like. Wow. Look at that. So soft. Let me compare. It's very soft. And the top isn't hard at all. It's perfect. Now we're going to have a bit of our butter. And you see how the butter just melted into it. So inviting. Colour's interesting as well. So before I taste this, I'm going to call my mum for her to taste first, to give her opinion on my bakery skills.
I'm here now. This is the bread and the butter our chef Abraham has made. I'm going to give it a taste to see. I'm going to grade him. This is what is called oyo butter. In Nigeria it's hot, and when you put the butter on it, it's melting. Very lovely. Well done, chef.
Thank you. Let me give it a taste. I already know it's going to be nice because I made it, so. What is nice?
You see that this is so lovely. Very soft. I give him 10 out of 10. Well done, son. I'm very proud of you. You know, like I normally say, that when it comes to cooking, you have to explore a lot, and as you explore, you discover, and as you discover, you're going to enjoy. It's time for us to go and enjoy our bread and our
Butter.
what kind of butter?
Garlic and herb.
Garlic and herb. Make sure you share this video with your
friends and families. Give it a like. Make sure you leave your comment in the comment section below. Subscribe if you haven't already. And don't forget to give my mom a follow on Instagram. Her link is in the description below. And I hope to see you guys soon.
Till next time. Bye.